go check out BrandonJordanComedy.com, where you can be able to go get your own Don't Blame Me, Blame Detroit t-shirt or hoodie. Also, you can get you a Dreams Only Die When You Kill 'Em t-shirt or hoodie too. Again, BrandonJordanComedy.com. Go check it out. What up, though? This is another episode of Don't Blame Me, Blame Detroit with your boy Brandon Jordan. Man, I'm in a great mood today, and I'm really excited about doing this episode because we got a lot to cover, and I got some good special guests today. Couple notes before we get started. July 19th, I will be at the Stellar Aula Theater for the Set Off. That's a new show that's coming out for this summer, and I can't wait to do that show because it's a great lineup and it's going to be a great series that we're doing. Man, how can it was a topic that we're going to get to that I wanted to start off with, but something came to me. Well, it's been bothering me, and it really was on my head this morning, and so I want to kind of start off with that. You know, I owe two apologies. Two apologies I owe. And one thing for me, you know, as I'm getting older and understanding about life is that sometimes, you know, you need people, you know, to talk to and to work stuff out that's going on in your life. And for me, you know, I'm big on, you know, going to therapy and talking to somebody, you know, and that's something that I had to do for my personal self. And so over the last couple of months, as I started going back to therapy and talking to somebody, one of the things is that I had to start understanding is that to be able to take accountability for things that I do that I might not recognize in the beginning. And one of the biggest things that I've been, you know, working on myself over the last couple of months is being able to be more vulnerable in life, period. You know, in my stand-up, in my friendships, and relationships, you know what I'm saying, with different women. You know, being able to be vulnerable and not always, you know, trying to give out what I think people want instead of just giving out who I really am. You know, a lot of times I might do that because, you know, I'm scared of what the outcome might be. So one of the apologies I owe to myself. And I owe to myself an apology because it's too many times that I take, you know, the easy route out, or I might not, you know what I'm saying, want to put myself in a position to, you know, be vulnerable in the situation. So I want to apologize to myself for that because in my growth as a person, that's something that I want to work on and working on every day to be a better person. The second apology that I owe to somebody. I owe you an apology because in trying to be vulnerable with you, I was, how can I put it, not understanding the situation. I was too busy trying to give you what I thought you needed instead of listening to what you was telling me. What else? How can I put this? I owe you an apology because I'm trying to just find the right words to say this. So I won't, because I'm not doing this. I don't want to do this again. So I owe you the apology, not off of not giving you the person that my friends love, my God kids love, my family love. Not giving you that person. Not giving you the person that Brandon really is. Giving you the person that I thought that you wanted. And that ultimately ended up to where we are today. And I don't want that. Even if, you know what I'm saying, if we don't go back to talking like we used to, I want to at least being able to be a man and be able to apologize and have you understand, you know what I'm saying, where I'm at and where I'm growing and where I'm changing. So that's that. And let's get on with the show. Because I do got 2 special guests in the building.
Hold on, that was major.
Yeah, it was.
For you to like sit there and take credit.
It was, man. It was.
Wow.
It was.
Shit, he almost made me confess.
Yeah, I was like, I
I
got
this close, but I leaned
got
back.
traditions too.
I had to go there because one of the things in my sessions that I've been talking about is last year was a very, very tough year for me. Where it was, I was moving to LA, moving to, a new city. Even though I didn't move a couple of times over the last couple of years, moving to LA has been the biggest change in my life when it comes to moving somewhere. Also, I was dealing with 2 other issues last year that really affected me. One was, only 2 people know about this. So now a lot of people about to know about this. Is that last year, I guess I got somebody pregnant. Well, I did get somebody pregnant, and she had an abortion and didn't tell me.
Oh, okay.
So that affected me, and also the other biggest thing that affected me was my big brother in comedy passed away. R.I.P. Kool-Aid. And that him passing away, of course, was a big factor. But the biggest factor is that I didn't get to say bye. Even though we text, in last time we had any communication was September, and he passed away in December.
Was it sudden, or?
It was sudden to me, but not sudden to other people, because other people, like me being away, other people were back home closer, so they knew the situation more in depth than I did. I did not know that it was that serious.
Okay.
I knew he was in and out the hospital, but I'm seeing him on Instagram going to Cowboys games and stuff like that, not knowing that he was doing this stuff because he knew what was coming up. I didn't know that. So not being able to, speak with him, before he passed, kind of messed with me. And so not being able to deal with the issue, a lot of things that I was having with, dealing with people, it was affecting my relationship with them people. And so there's one person that I owed an apology to. One of the things that I was doing to this person was I was taking some of my pain onto her, but not in a negative light. I was trying to do too much nice stuff to try to cover up the hurt that I had inside. If you get what I mean.
Yeah, definitely.
Trying to see somebody else smile and happy was covering up the pain that I had inside for myself.
Exactly.
So, and so that's something that going into this year I had to deal with, because last year was, was a hard year for me, but a lot of people wouldn't notice that because in the public I wasn't trying to show it.
Yeah.
So
like a typical comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because what's crazy is that people that's not in comedy, their idea of a comedian is you telling jokes all day, being funny, this and this. When most of the comedians I know are introverts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're introverts. You know what I'm saying? They, and that's how I am. You know what I mean? And so so sometimes it's hard to express stuff on stage. Even though the best comedy is the pain that the person is going through.
Yeah.
It was hard for me to talk about certain stuff on stage, and which was affecting my stand-up period.
Because it wasn't funny yet to you.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was too many thoughts going into my head, and but whatever. But let me introduce y'all. Let's give it up for a new brother I just met today, and so far this dude is sounds like a good dude right here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's messed up.
Give it up for my man Emmanuel.
Thank
Man,
you.
tell the people what you do. Tell them about yourself.
Comedy writer. Right now we got Heart of the City on the air, so I'm gonna plug Heart of the City. Kevin Hart presents Heart of the City. So much love to Joy Wells, this young lady right here who I call my sister, Jere Kirkland, being a big part of that, and everything else. But yeah, man, just writing stand up for my man Joy and being a part of the Hartbeat family, man. Just having fun.
Okay. So I'm gonna bring I'm gonna talk. Bring up my other guest here. This lady right here. She don't need no last name. It's just first name basis only. When
Like
you see
Cher.
when you see this, when you see her in public, it's first name basis only. Okay. So give up my special guest, Jere.
Hey, what's up?
Tell
So
me about
awkward.
yourself.
Oh, well, technically right now I'm an executive assistant for Joey Wells. I just gave myself a promo, sorry. And like Hartbeat family, and I have some stuff working with Nickelodeon.
Okay.
I don't think I've told you about it.
No, you told me about the Nickelodeon
Okay,
stuff.
good. I've been telling
Yeah,
everybody
that's
though.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for a job. You know what I'm saying? For a job.
I'm
you
waiting
know.
for the lawyers to stop going back
You
and
know,
forth so
yeah.
I can sign.
You know, I do an interview. I come with a suit and tie. You know, what I mean? And my hush puppies. You know, what I mean, I come.
You show me a suit and tie interview out here. I'm like, what's this brother?
Yeah, selling bean pies.
And he got a Detroit hat on too. I'm
I'll
like,
come
hey, yo,
with
son.
Yeah.
I'll come with a haircut with the part in it and everything. You know what I mean? But yeah. But you know how I started off, man. Have you ever had to been vulnerable for a situation in your life?
Yeah, I'm a woman. But actually, when you brought up therapy, it was crazy because I just started therapy
Mm-hmm.
like last month because I went through like a bad breakup thing.
Yeah.
And so when you mentioned it, I was like, oh shit, this is the topic? Like, I'm about to get real vulnerable in here.
Uh-oh.
But how?
Yeah.
So how do you feel? Since you've been going to therapy, how you feel about it?
Okay, so it's interesting because now we're like, okay, so I had a bad breakup, so the first session was talking about all about her, like how, whatever, our relationship. And then it quickly got into my mother and then my siblings, and then how, like, it affects my job. Like, in the sense of, how do I say this? So when people ask me, like, oh, how's Joey or how's work, I always say, just trying to keep him alive. And he's a 50-year-old man. He's not sick. Nothing, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not really keeping him alive. But then last session, she was like, because at one point my mother had breast cancer.
Okay.
And, like, for a year in 5th grade, every day I was just trying to keep her alive because it was me and my little sister and my mom in the house.
Okay.
So, like, literally keeping her alive. And so now it's like, oh, shit. Like, I correlate them together of, like, just trying to keep a person alive when, like, he's not sick. And I was like, oh. And, like, it starts to make sense of, like, why I do certain things.
Okay. See, my father passed away for brain cancer when I was 7, and so growing up, you know, when I was younger, of course, I was hurt. You know, my dad just was there, and now he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? As I got older and start learning about who my dad was at my younger ages, I start having negative feelings towards him. So it was kind of like, good, you gone. You know what I mean? Because you was a problem. But then as I start getting older, you know what I'm saying, as I'm now becoming more of a man, you know what I'm saying, now I look back and say, you know, because all the stuff I've been through and seeing other people go through, is that he was only human.
Mm-hmm.
He had his demons, and he died at an early age. You know, my dad, I believe, was in his 30s when he died. I don't remember the exact age.
That's
But
long.
knowing what I know now, yeah, some of the things he did towards my mom and stuff like that, yeah, that was hurtful. But I understand that he was a man, and if he given the time, he probably would have changed. But, you know, I don't have them feelings towards him anymore. You know what I mean? Because I honestly wish I had my dad. You know what I mean? Because going through life, you know, trying to figure this stuff out,
Yeah.
without, you know, even though I have great male role models, it's nothing like having your father. You know what I'm saying? The person that, you know what I'm saying, birthed you. You know what I mean? Is the person that you would want to talk to and have a relationship with. So, but Emmanuel, what about you? Have you?
Tell us about your daddy.
No, I think just as a black man, just growing up, just making decisions now is a hard thing. Like you just said, each day we gotta make a crucial decision about something. Sometimes you want advice from somebody, so I can relate to the relationship aspect of it. Because you know, you and I talk about it. I'm not gonna say the young lady's name, but yeah,
That's not.
when you're a man and you go through a relationship, you're gonna hit that heartache and pain. You're gonna hit that vulnerability. You know, hey, it's part of growing up. It's part of just having the aspect of just being a young man dealing with life. That's you know, that's how I look at it. You know, even with my ex, I'm over her, but not over. Like we still like we're friends. So
They're gonna get married. I told him weekly. Like he's like, I don't. Literally, he'll call. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm gonna go over to her house and fill up her gas tank and wash her car. Aren't you guys broken up? Yeah, I don't even like her. Okay, she's sick. I'm gonna bring her tea.
But
like, what?
But here's the crazy thing with me. When I moved out here, my whole goal was strictly to focus on writing, which I'm just doing. So the young lady, you know, my ex, she's the only girlfriend I've had in LA that I literally cared for. Like, hey, this is my girlfriend. I love you. Talk about planning the future. Because as an artist out here, it is very hard to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
Because there's an essence of competition. I'm not an actor, she's an actor. Not saying that we were in competition, but you have that. And it works for some people. Every relationship, totally different. But when you both are in entertainment, and then, you know, you're gonna live a totally different life than we would back in Detroit, you know, Northern California, or, you know, back in Indiana. You're gonna it's totally different. If I was back in Indiana, I'd probably be married with like 2 or 3 kids right now, living a, you know. But I love writing the jokes. I love it for the good of it when the checks come in. I love it when the checks don't come in. She'll tell you, I'm always writing. There's a sacrifice that you have on a Friday or Saturday night where I'd rather be in a comedy club or somewhere as opposed to just being out in the streets. Because at the end of the day, you know, it costs too much to live out here. So it's kind of like, if I wasn't pursuing writing, yeah, I wouldn't be out here. So.
No. And that's I always tell people that too, because before I moved here, since I was a kid, I always wanted to live in LA. I was a Laker fan growing up, big Kobe Bryant fan. Always wanted to live in LA. And when I visit here, you know, to do shows and just to come visit, it was always like, man, LA the best, LA the best. Man, I moved here, man, the first 6 months, I swear to God, I moved here in February. It was like June, I was looking at plane tickets like, man, I'm about to move back to Dallas.
Man.
I gotta get up out of here, man.
Now, where'd you stay when you first moved to LA?
When I first moved to LA, the first 2 months I stayed in a hotel.
Okay.
I actually stayed in 3 different hotels.
What neighborhood? Like what?
Inglewood area.
Okay, see, it's totally different because I stayed off of Hollywood and Wilcox. Man, I moved in on a Thursday. It's daylight and everything, you know, Memorial Day weekend. I'm like, okay, I'm in Hollywood. It's, you know, it's going good. Rent was it wasn't as much as it is now.
Yeah.
Man, the sun went down. There's all kind of clubs on the street. And the building I stayed in was kind of a corporate building. So we had a pool and all of that. But then you got all kind of neighbors. So we had the aspiring actresses, the models. We had it all. Like Houdini say, freaks come out at night. We had it all. We had a dude at the end of my hallway that was a porn. He shot porn in his apartment. So every Friday and Saturday, like, I look out my peephole and I can see straight down the hallway, and I see maybe about 3 or 4 women just got their little weekend bag or whatever. And then you can smell it. Like, it's just a certain smell that strippers and people from that industry have, that mango passion or whatever.
Oh
and you can smell it every weekend on that floor, and kind of find out that's what he was doing. I was just like, wow, this is a crazy, but everybody in the building was mad cool though. Like, you know, you see everybody and you speak or whatever, but yeah, man, that, you know, I don't know how I got down in Inglewood, but that was a jump coming from the Midwest for me.
The most craziest area I stayed in when I was off of Century and, what's that, La Brea?
Ooh.
Century and La Brea, right by the airport. I stayed in a hotel the last month I was there. And so, but it was nothing, it was, you know, you had your little homeless and whatever. It wasn't too crazy. I ain't had no issues. But, you know, a couple fights. That was about it. You know, none
That you started or broke up?
Nah, I had none involved in it. But yeah, so that was crazy. But yeah, I tell people, man, if you moving to LA, for me is you only have really 3 reasons to move to LA. Number 1 is if you're working on a career. 2, if you're rich. 3, if you're born and raised here and you just want to move back to be back where you from. That's it. But if you just a regular dude or a regular girl just living in Philly or something, and you say, I just want to move to California just to move, it's no point. It's no point because the cost of living here is so ridiculous that I would love, like I lived in Dallas before I moved here.
Okay.
I miss it so much. Like, oh, I miss it so much. I think I talked about it on another episode, but I miss it so much. I miss my place so much. I had a loft, upstairs, downstairs, full kitchen, big living room, 1.5 beds, walk-in closet for $950 a month.
What?
In the suburban area.
You know, Frisco?
No, I lived in Arlington.
Okay.
Right by. I lived literally like I literally could walk to the Cowboys.
Oh, that's what's up.
To the Cowboys Stadium. You know, that's where I lived at.
What?
And I live now in a barely 300 square foot studio apartment for $1,200 a month, where we gotta beg our landlord to come take the trash out from because it smells, and there's nothing but homeless people. And like yesterday, I went to the grocery store yesterday. As I'm going to the grocery store, and I'm trying to bag up to because it's so congested, to back up and turn around and get to a parking spot, I almost hit a homeless dude that's knocked out asleep on the side of the side of the street. I'm looking like, bro, like this. I said only in LA would I have to deal with this. But yeah. But Jere, tell me. So, how did you hook up with Joey?
Okay, so I moved out here, and I lived with someone, and then she moved out, and then I was heartbroken, whatever. I went back home to Fresno, and like the daycare. Okay, so there's this daycare that my godmom owns. It's the only black-owned daycare. It's like been out for 50 years, blah blah blah. Joey went there. Audra McDonald, Sloan Stevens, like the tons of Bruce Bowen, like hella people have gone there. So I was at home crying. My mother's like, "You can't stay in my house crying all day." So I would go to the daycare and just be in that bitch until 6 o'clock. And then this like local legend walked in, and like we knew of him, but I didn't know him. My mom came to get me, and he was like, "Oh, I've got a brother in LA that does comedy, whatever." So they made us meet. So my mom sent me back to LA, and I had a meeting with him. His name is Charles Gooch.
Okay.
And he was like, "Oh," "You're a Kirkland, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Do you know Ronnie Kirkland?" And I was like, "Yeah, he's my favorite uncle." And he was like, "Oh, I guess Charles Gooch was bullied as a kid, and my uncle would like his Jerry curl and shit, ran out and like beat up some kids. And he was like, I'm gonna defend you and blah blah. You're gonna be successful because of Ronnie Kirkland when he was 12 or whatever." And I was like, "Okay." He's like, "I do this podcast with Joey Wells. He works with Kevin Hart." And I was like, "Okay." So I was an intern for a couple weeks. Then they made me a producer, and then I was on the show as the female talent. And they stopped the show. Then I started working at the Comedy Union, which is a black-owned comedy club, and doing their social media. And then I started hearing that all the comics, they knew me like in passing. They kept saying like, "Joey keeps asking about you. He keeps asking about you, like your work ethic and blah blah blah." And I was like, "Tell him the truth." Like, okay. And then like it was like a few months of people just saying they're like, "Oh, when he calls, answer the phone." I was like, "Why wouldn't I answer the phone?" He called one day and was like, "Hey, I talked to Shayla," which is Will Packard's assistant, and laid out his schedule and all this stuff. And she said that I need an assistant. So will you do that? And I was like, "Be your assistant in Hartbeat?" And he was like, "Yeah, like I've asked about you." And I was like, "Yeah," because at the time I was working at Macy's selling dresses at the Beverly Center, and I was like, "Yeah, you can take me out of here. Yeah, you can take me out of here. Okay."
And she hated that job.
Yeah,
too.
and like I don't really wear dresses, so I was just lying to these white women, like,
Dog.
like you don't even know, like it was just bad. And
I feel because I work in the shoe store, and people come in acting like when we get shoes, we have a meeting, sit down, discuss the design, the feel, the size, how it runs. No, we get the shit, put it out, and you go online and figure and see what the reviews is if you care that much. That should be irritating the crap out of me.
Women would ask me all kinds of questions about it, and I'd be like, "Man, I just clocked in. Like you watched me clock in. Like these are new. Like I don't know." Like, and then
come in talking about how. Yeah, they be like, how do this shoe run? I don't know. I haven't even worn shoe. We just got it today.
Yeah, like I don't know.
I
didn't know we had those.
Try it on, and we'll figure it out.
Take a couple laps around the store.
That's their retail life.
Yeah. And so I smooth was like, "Yeah, I'll get out of here." And then we're 3 years in now. Yeah. Okay. And I got some shit popping.
Hey, you got me hot right now. I'm thinking all those dumbass questions they come in with. I hate. Look, I don't care. I gotta look. I hate the ones that come in and be like, "Hey, do you got a size 6 in this?" No, we don't have a 6. So you ain't got no 6. Then I just tell your dumb ass I ain't got no 6.
We just talked about this.
You got to say that up for your last day when you quit. Just save it all up, and when you know you're gonna quit, just go all in and quit before lunch.
My managers love me because of my personality, but like I would have like this long ass line because I was just giving out discounts for shit. Like, if I knew the code, like some people would be like, oh, like if they asked, I'm like, I know the code, like, and just like it wasn't my money. Like here, like get a discount. And then like some of those dresses are really expensive, and like some of them, you could tell like pro dancers that were going to like award shows and shit.
Yeah.
So they'd be like, oh, like I don't know, my dad said blah blah blah, it's $1,500. I'd be like, listen. So when's the award show? They'd be like, oh, tomorrow night. I'd be like, okay, so in 2 days, I will be here in the morning. Come return it with me. And they'd be like, I'd be like, don't sweat this shit out. Like, just bring it back. And, like, I would bring it back, and they're like, you're registered. And I'm like, it's because, like, you have, like, quotas and shit. Like, you know, you have to meet. And, like, I never made them. Because I was, like, at the time, I was part-time with Joey. So I was like, I'm about to be out this bitch. Like, and so I would do shit all the time. And they were like, why are you the only one in the store that has a line? Because I'm nice. Like, it was really because I was returning shit.
So Emmanuel, so what do you do for Hartbeat?
I write with Joy, write for Joy, his stand up when he does it, and then Heart of the City, and then we're in office Tuesday developing content.
You did Next Level too.
Yeah, that's right. The Next Level, which was a really, really dope show for comics that did Heart of the City, and then some comics that were at the Laugh Factory to go and do a solid half hour. So a lot of good comics that we actually became friends with over the last couple of years doing that show. So we did the Next Level. I like wrote and produced on that, and same with Heart of the City.
Yeah,
so.
I've been to one of the tapings. You know, one of my homeboys, shout out to Jeff Forrest. I was there for that.
Okay,
Yeah, I was there. I was there for that taping, and then you know I am cool with T Murph. And I you know, I fuck with Malik too.
Okay.
And you know, I'd be jealous of T Murph. You know, we were just talking about our shoe collection. Man, I'd be trying to keep up with him, but his shoe collection is on another level.
Is it?
Yeah, T Murph. Oh man, his shoe collection. I'd be on Instagram feeling like a fan. I'm like, man, I'd be hitting him like, bro, what is that? Where did you get that from? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, his shoe collection crazy.
I'm gonna mess with him next time I see him. I saw him a few weeks ago. He did Quake's house.
Okay.
So they came out to the studio. So I saw him. I was like, oh, okay.
Like, do you know Calvin?
Calvin, what's
For Chicago? Damn, what's Calvin's last name? I ain't got my phone. Dark skin, look like 50 Cent.
Nah, I don't know too many Calvins.
I'll show you his.
You said that. I know a couple Calvins and Gary, but no, not.
I'll show you his shoe collection is beyond. He has a whole section just for shoes he hoop in, and that's literally almost like 100 pair of shoes.
Wow.
Just that he only strictly just hoops in. Then he has his collection of shoes that he just wears and just keeps or whatever. He got like 400 pair, I think.
Where do you put these? Because I know a comic that I'm pretty sure he's definition of a struggling comic, but he was like,
wow.
He was like. I was talking to him because I was like, oh, I like your shoes. He's like, oh, baby, I got blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. And then as he was talking, I realized this Negro has a 2-bedroom, 1 bedroom for his sneakers.
Oh, okay.
And I was just like, okay. Like, I was just like, this seems like a lot. But, like, where are all these shoes?
See, for me, I'm not a shoebox guy. Like, I'm not a shoebox
I'm pretty
guy.
sure he stacks his shoes.
I don't care about the shoebox. Like, we get people coming to our store cry. If it has a crease in the shoebox, they be sitting there crying. You got another box? I don't care about shoebox. Most of the time, I throw them away. So I have, but I do have some. You know, the ones that I had shoeboxes for is the ones I haven't wore yet.
Okay.
The ones I haven't wore yet still have their shoebox. But ones I have wore, whatever, I have. I bought a thing where you can be able to plug them in. You know, like a rack. It's kind of like a shoe rack. Mm-hmm. You can plug them in, and then I also have totes that I have shoes in and stuff like that.
So the shit's not just like laying.
It was at one point.
Oh, you had that floor collection.
Yeah, it was all.
I have my boxes.
When I first moved here to LA, that's how my shoes were. They was all over the floor. They were all over. Like when I lived in Dallas, I had my walk-in closet. I had them laid out. They were laid out, on the floor in a row to where, and then up top, they was all around. Then I also had some shoe boxes and racks too. So that's how I keep them, you know what I'm saying? So also in my apartment, for some reason, I do have 2 closets. So I keep, some shoes in one closet and one in the other.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Where are yours? Just everywhere?
No, I have boxes. Majority of them, I have maybe about 70, 80 pair, and I'd say maybe about 60 or 65 are in boxes. Because I got a roommate, so I got one fucking room. And, but I gave away a lot of my stuff, donate clothes to the homeless, but my shoe collection is just in boxes because it's less space, so I can stack them up.
See, for me, it's so hard with the boxes for when, because I'm used to, like I said, over the last 4 years, I moved a lot. So it was so hard for me to pack all them shoe boxes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All those shoe boxes when I'm moving, then I just said, you know what, fuck the shoe boxes. And I just bought like big clear totes from Walmart and just stacked the shoes in there, or like got a big box and just put them in there and move.
I'm gonna have to look into that, because the downside is whatever pairs at the bottom, they take it. Man, I literally got about 5 pairs at the bottom that I was literally just too lazy to move the boxes off the top to grab a pair. I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna wear these again. So, but I do pinch myself because I feel fortunate that I can buy shoes. Because again, like I said, I pass out shoes to stuff to the homeless on some Sundays.
Yeah.
So that's a cool feeling. So it's like every time I give away a pair of something, you know, I'm blessed to be able to like buy a pair eventually or whatever. But I wear all of mine. I think I got maybe 1 or 2 pair I haven't worn yet, but I wear all of mine.
See, the ones that I haven't worn yet are ones that are like awkward colors. That is like I haven't took the time to even try to find something to wear with it. So they just sit in the box because I just like the color, so I just still bought them. So they just sit. So now they just sitting there. Like one of the ones I just bought recently was the SB ones that just came out. They were the New York to Paris edition. So like what you can, so they come gray and black. But what you can do, I don't know if y'all know about them, but you can use acetone and you can scrub it and you can change the colors.
Oh shit!
Oh,
On the shoes.
Really?
Yeah. So the shoes come gray and black, but you can change it up and you can make them pink, and it's another color, pink and gray, I think. And so I haven't messed with them yet, but a lot of people, they make crazy designs on them and stuff like that and wear them. So I haven't. So that's one pair that I know I haven't worn yet, and it's just a pair I just I wanted, and so I just right now just sitting in the closet.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this last question on the.
This is about to be a sneakers head.
No, that's what I said. That's why I asked them. That's why I said the last question. I always ask you guys, what's like the best pair that you have in your collection? Like you like, yo,
my favorite pair.
Yes.
Is my Kyrie. I think it's the Kyrie 3s.
Okay.
The Black Mamba edition.
Okay.
That was my favorite pair, and
because it's Kobe.
Yeah,
and
I'm a diehard Kobe fan.
And you said Kyrie.
You
said Kyrie.
Yeah. I'm a big Kobe fan, and I just love the design of the shoe. It's yellow.
Okay.
It's yellow, black, and it has red in it, but it has like these Bruce Lee marks on the shoe. And so the story behind that shoe is that when I was living in Dallas at the time when the shoe came out, and the Foot Locker in the mall that I worked at said, "Hey, yeah, we getting the shoe, whatever, we getting the shoe." So that Friday morning, I got to work extra early.
As real niggas do.
Stood in line patiently. Employees going, the Foot Locker employees going in and out to work. About 5 minutes until opening, they come out to the gate and say, "Yeah, we didn't get the shoes."
They knew that. Come on.
They was like, only one store in the area got the shoes, and that store was like an hour away.
Yeah, they knew that.
And so I'm like, bro, you could have been said something. Y'all knew y'all ain't had these shoes. And so I had to, because I wanted the shoes so bad. And sometimes I do it, you ever heard of a website called StockX?
Yeah.
Went on StockX, and the shoes retail for $120. But it was a new shoe on a hot day, and it was, so I had to pay the resale price. So I ended up paying $240 for the shoe. Which,
it's not that bad.
It's not that bad now. At that moment, I was pissed because I'm like, I should have got this shoe for retail. I was first in line, but I wanted the shoe that bad. So, and then I knew the retail price was going to go up on the shoe because it was super limited. So I just went on and paid it then, because if I would have waited, I'd be paying like $3-something right now for the shoe.
Oh, man.
So that's my favorite shoe out of my collection. I actually have a couple. Actually, another shoe, which is probably another plug, is my Kevin Hart's. I love
the Hustle Heart.
The Hustle
The
Heart.
ones or the twos?
How the hell do you get a pair of the Hustle Heart? Because
Nigga.
we don't have them.
I know.
I got the red with the gold and the white.
Yeah.
I wanted the black pair. That's the pair I really wanted. But I ended up getting the red pair.
Actually, I know where they're stacked up in the office. I'll tell you.
Oh, cool.
Dead ass. I found it the other day. I was just wandering. I was like, I thought they were sold out.
Wonder on these 10s.
Hey, what's more about the office? I've been to the office once.
Oh, that's
Well, when? Like recently?
It was this is last
When
year.
we've had the whole floor, or?
It was upstairs. I just remember we went up the elevator.
Mm-hmm.
Cause the security guard had to let us up.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, okay. So it's
Yeah.
somewhere recent, yeah.
So yeah, it was out going to like Ventura, something like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Encino.
Yeah, and so we went up there, and just walking around, it made me, because I like having fan moments.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm respectful with my fan moments. You know what I'm saying? Some people can't handle it. They just, disrespectful. But it was a moment for me because it was like walking through there, it's like, man, this, you know what I'm saying? Not saying that I can't reach that success, but it's just seeing that a comic that's my color got this.
Yeah.
And it was just walking around, and I'm just like, man, this is amazing. You know what I mean? For me, so yeah, so that was my moment up there. Hopefully I have some more, but
Sometimes I forget. Like,
Yeah.
I legit forget because, like, one day I was on the phone with my mom, and Kevin walked in, and I was in Joey's office. He was just standing there, and I was like, what are you looking at? And he was like, I don't know yet. And then, like, I said something else smart. My mother was like, you gotta stop talking to that man like that. And I was like, but if you knew him, and she's like, no, like, that's your boss's boss. And I was like, okay, yeah, okay.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But, like, our interaction is very much like, he'll walk by and just, like, push you. And you're just like,
Yeah.
why? And he's like, I don't know, nigga. And, like,
Yeah.
or, like, he's on, like, a hoverboard or, like, some scooter, like a Barbie scooter and shit. And you're just like, it's the weirdest thing. But then, like, I had to remember, like, oh, it's a real job.
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the one and only time I met Kevin.
Mhm.
This is years ago, before Kevin was Kevin. He was on tour with Lavelle Crawford.
Oh wow.
Oh, I love Lavelle.
Yeah, he was on tour with Lavelle Crawford, and he was in Detroit. And shout out to Martini Harris, was a Detroit comedian. He was opening up the show, or hosting, one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
And he invited us, because I just started doing comedy. So he invited us out, to come to the show, whatever. We got to the show late, and it was like after the show was over with. So everybody, all the people was in the lobby area. Kevin was out there, talking to people, Lavelle, whatever. And so me, and I already know, my homeboy, Clayton Thomas. You know Clayton?
Yeah. I know
Me and Clayton, we went to high school together.
Okay.
And so we up there and everything. And so me and Clayton sitting there talking to Kevin, and it's hilarious because we sitting there like, this is a grown man. He's shorter than, I'm 5'8", you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he's looking right here at my chest, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And he's like, but we talking with him. And Kevin, like, at that moment, you know what I'm saying, and from what everybody says about Kevin, of course, he has matured and changed as a man and as a businessman, but as the personality, he's still the same person then that he is now. And so we talking with him and laughing and stuff, and he just like, yeah, man, take my number and this and this. So we took his number and everything, and I think it was probably about a year later, I think that's when, boom, it was like, he wasn't huge yet, but the name was popping out there as a, coming up. And so I was looking, I'll never forget this. I'm looking at my phone like, dang, this is his number. And I was like, should I
It's
call
not
it?
the number now.
I know it's not now.
Okay, call that
But
number now. See
I
what
was
happens.
I was like, should I try to call it? And Clayton said the same thing. He was like, man, should we call it? And I don't know if he ever did, but I never did. I never called it because it was like,
You should have. Shit. He
But
gave it to
it-
you for a reason.
I know, but it was one of them things where it's like, what'd I say? Because it was
That's
like,
true.
it was
Yeah.
like, I'm calling, but I had no reason to call. It was like, one was gonna call and say,
Hey, what's
Hi.
up?
What you
What's
doing?
up? You know what I'm saying? What's
You
up?
good?
You know what I mean? And he gonna be like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But working on Heart of the City, how's that impacted y'all?
Go first.
You know what? It's a good thing because it gives you a platform. Because I mean, his name alone stands, by itself. It's Hartbeat. So with what he's done with the comedy world, and he's global, it's a cool thing. But then again, and we always talk about this. We have to look out for certain instances of like, when I go to meetings, are they wanting to meet with me because I write, or they're trying to meet with me to get something to Joy or Kevin? And I've had. Back last fall when I had this one manager, I used to go maybe about 2 or 3 of those meetings a week, and I'm like, dude, stop sending me on these kamikaze meetings, man. Like, yo, like, so it's a great thing, but then it narrows it down to like you said, you come in the office, I don't think about it, I don't like, oh man, with the Hartbeat. I'll be in there writing sometime, and he'll walk by, hey, what's up, man? Hey, what's
Yeah.
going on? Let me into the conversation. I'll get back to writing. You see him, you nod, and just it's one of those things. He give you 5 or whatever, because I think it's one of those things. Everyone knows their lane in a sense. So he comes in. He's Kevin to us. You know, we call him Kev or whatever. Like I said, my interaction with him is not like hers. She sees him a lot more than I do, but. When I see him, it's hey, what's going on? So it's great to be a part of that, man, and then to see how it's growing, to be a part of that. So it's cool. And then it's certain advantages that we do have, like creating material, like, hey, Joy, take a look at this. So it, as a writer, that's a great thing. And then to have someone believe in you as a writer, like, Joy's great with us to like, if he doesn't like anything, he won't say he doesn't like it. He'll say, what else you got, or how do we turn that to make it something better?
Right.
So. It's one of those things. So it's a good thing, man. And, just hanging out with comics, that's one of the cool things I like doing.
Okay.
I forgot the question.
I said, how does it feel, working on Hartbeat City? Like, how did it impact you?
Well, most people, like, at my age would have been PAs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've never PA'd, so I don't know any different. So, like, so when I first came, like, I was just backstage at Next Level, just hanging out. The very next season, I was a talent coordinator.
Okay.
So I was winging the shit, but like we did a good job, right? So then, like, so I was in Fresno at the time for first season of Heart of the City. So I helped find the locations from like through email. Then second season, he traveled, and I came after like in post and helped. Mainly it was like helping Joey and whatever, like with the edits. And then third season, I was associate producer. So then, like, and then I did props and whatever, so I was still winging it, but, like, I never ran and got coffee and all that. Like, I always had, like, a kind of a team under me.
Right.
And I don't know like, to be honest, like, I don't.
She has no idea,
No, because, like, okay, for example, like, this Nickelodeon shit, like, I've been out here, like, work with Joey, like, about 4 years, right? What happened, he said, hey, we're starting LOL, we want some kid stuff, some kid shit. Thought of some kid shit, I just emailed it to him. He called me right away. We worked on it for about a year. Then he took it to Dave Becky, which is like the manager of managers. He liked it. He took it to Kevin. He liked it. Then Kevin said, hold on, wait. Walked out the room, came back, and was like, oh, we'll talk in a little bit. Then a few months later, he has an overall deal with Nickelodeon. And I think I was the first pitch.
Yeah, I mean, you told me that.
Yeah. And so, like, the entire Dave Becky, Kevin, the, like, entire, like, top of our company went to the meeting. We sold it in the room. Like, so, like, my first real idea, like, no one has told me no. And so Joey's whole thing is like, I can't wait for you to get your first no. I'm like, I'm undefeated, nigga. I'm out here.
It's a running joke we have. But
yeah,
no,
so, like, I don't have any sort of, and, like, there's another project that Joey's pitched 14 times. And I'm like, nigga, if I went, like, we'd get a yes. And he's just like, I can't stand you. But I'm like, I don't, like, I have, like, that's always a joke of, like, he's like, most people get no's their entire career. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, like, there's nothing.
Sammy Sosa. Wow. It's like, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and so, like, yeah. It just,
but no, she's very talented, and it's crazy because she'll tell you, I never introduced her as Joey's assistant. I try to find some other way because she's more.
He still writes my check, so technically.
But she's more to it than that. Like, she takes care of, like, we all take care of each other. Like, there's no, like, we don't have disagreements. Like, if she messes up, I find a cool way to say, hey, you can't do that. And same thing, and there's no love lost or whatever. It's just as much love. Like, so it's kind of like, it's a working, mechanism that we all have. So it's kind of like everything's in the right place. And she's literally going to be, I give her like the next year or two, she's going to be in one of those Hollywood Reporter magazines, just like the under 30, because it's shifting and she's part of it. And what she's doing, other people can be like, oh wow, where did she come from? He's like, well, she's already been here. You just didn't know about her.
Oh, thank
So
you.
it's one of those. I'll get that $50.
Yeah, I got you.
Like no is so common in my daily life that it's like when I hear like, yeah, you can do. Seriously, I double take because I have to feel. I'm like,
that's a yes.
Like that's a yes. Okay, okay. I have to take it in because I'm like, okay, I don't hear too many of them yeses.
Yeah.
But what's so funny is that I think Jeff Horse
Okay.
gave me your email. And
I
think
this is about to be I told this shit in the car.
I think Jeff Horse gave me your email. I can't remember how I got your email, but I think it was Jeff. And I sent her an email Never got a response back.
Oh
Look,
shit! I just told him the story.
Look, and
Hollywood.
we was
I didn't mean to.
and it was Tish house, right?
Yeah,
and we
yeah.
met at Tish house.
He
and-
walked him up into his house. I was like, "What's up?"
And but the thing about it, but look, this is what I love about her though. From that moment on, I swear to God, it feels like I know her for a minute.
Oh, that's what's
Yeah,
up.
like
You know what I'm
Sam.
saying? Like
Yeah.
that's the type of energy that she gives off. She doesn't give off the energy like, you know, even the position that she's in, she doesn't give off the energy like I'm better than you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm not.
Even
I'm not. Like you could easily take my job.
no. But
You'll crush it. Like it's not special.
but I want to ask you like even though you're not the typical what they call gatekeeper,
Mm-hmm.
but you have some type of gatekeeping, you know, access
Mm-hmm.
to help people careers. How do you balance trying to filter someone genuinely just want to be cool or someone just want to just use you for what you can give them?
I don't know. That's why I started going to therapy. Like, okay, so I didn't realize that until I was maybe like 4 months ago. I was at the Savoy in the middle of the night outside, minding my own business. You know, like there's like a curb kind of like where
Yeah,
the
I
parking
know.
lot is. I
Mhm.
was sitting on there under the tree. Kevin Tate walks up, and that's the homie.
Yeah.
And he was a little drunk. As after a show. And he was like, "You're a gatekeeper, you need to do this, da da da," like everything I needed to hear. And I was just like, "Gatekeeper? Like, what is he talking about?" Like, and then I went back to the office and they're like, "Yeah, like you didn't realize that?" And I was like, "No." And then like I was dating someone, and then kind of find out like used in that for that reason, and like so I don't know. Like I hang out with him because like we're in the same like camp, but like it scares me to go out, and like I don't know. Like that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah. I always
Like-
I always like when I see her throughout the week, I always tell her, you know, it's a learning experience for both of us, especially with her, some more so with me, because I can kind of like just, oh, okay, this is some bullshit. And sometimes you can't really look through it in a sense because like she's very nice. And that's the thing. Somebody go, oh, you know, how you doing? Da, da, da. Next thing you know, a scripting gets slid into her email account, or she gave her number out, and then now it comes across she's, you know, being Hollywood. Not in your case, in a sense, but on a serious level where someone's like, hey, I got the script. You think you get the joy? Like I literally fell out with a couple of people I thought were friends because of that, man. Like somebody like, yo, can you get this to Joey? And maybe have him and Kevin like invest. If you give me a meeting, man, you know, you come on, you know, I'll bring you on as a producer. I'm like, me meeting with you qualifies me for that. And I'm not, by far, I don't want to shit on anybody's dreams. Like, she knows good material, I know good material. Even with the comedy stuff I write, I run it by her. And if she gives me a yay, I move forward with it. If she's like, hey, what else can you add to it, or what about this? And we'll work it out via text message. And I'm like, oh shit, okay, cool, thanks. She'll send me something of hers. And she's like, okay, cool, thanks. But if it's some bullshit between us, we'll literally let each other know. Okay. So that helps me when I'm out and about having coffee, someone wants to meet or whatever. Occasionally, I come across some good shit, man. And I'm like, oh, and that helps us with, you know, that thing about being producers. Like, oh, hey, Joey, we have this good project. You should take a look at it. And he trusts our judgment. He knows that we're not going to come in there with a piece of paper rolled up from our homeboy and say, hey, man, I got this script. It's literally like, hey, I tell people I know, like, yo, this shit's not good, man.
Yeah, like I'll work with people. Like
Yeah.
if they send me stuff and I'm like, if I like it, I'm like, okay, well, we need to do all this before I take it somewhere else. But then as far as like on the personal, like me and Joey have had this conversation a bunch of times because when him and Kev and Harry and everyone, Spank, they came up, they were all at the same level, like their same class, and so they were friends and they made it together, right? I mean, obviously Kevin took off and he brought them with, but like they're all together for in most part. But with me, he's always like, sometimes he like worries about me because I came out here by myself. So then like I had to make friends, and then I had to meet like a future partner. You know what I mean? So like he's like, I don't know how you're gonna figure that out, and I was like, I don't know either, because at some point like they weren't gatekeepers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's like, you came here as a gatekeeper. Like, so that's the first, especially like I'm in the, you know, outside Chocolate Sundays or the Union, whatever. They're like, they know who you are. And I'm like, no. And then a comedian, I said a slick comment, which I meant for it to be a joke, and it was, like, it came out fucked up. And like, as soon as it came out, I was like, okay, I'm in it. And like, he went off, and mid going off, he was like, I know who the fuck you were when you walked in here. And that scared the shit out of me. Because in my world, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, no one knows. Like, I'm just in, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, sometimes I'll do the box office for ends because I'm
Yeah.
doing shit that day. And, like, it scared me because I was like, wait, he's like, we all know who the fuck you are. Da, 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 da. And then I was just like, I know I fucked up because I shouldn't have said that, but also I'm like, what the fuck? So I don't know. Like, take it day by day.
Like I get like I'm not gonna, of course I'm not gonna say his name, but so I'm not gonna put him on blast, something like that. But I was having a conversation at the comedy store with a comedian, and it's kind of like similar to your situation with the Nickelodeon thing. He has he knows of he's associated with another another
Like
comedian
camp?
writer, you know,
Okay.
not a camp, but person that they just recently inked a deal with one of the production companies.
Okay.
And so he like, yeah, man, I'm about to try to, you know, really hang out with the person, this and this, so I can get me a job on the show, this and this. And I'm like, so my reaction was, I said, well, I don't think that's the best route because, number one, that person might not have, number one, creative control. They might have got the deal, but you don't know what the situation of the deal is. You know what I mean? Number one. So they might not even be able to put you on. So now you going at this person to put you on, they don't do it. Now you got a vendetta against this person because you didn't get personally what you want. Second, even if the person does have the control to do it, they're probably going to put on the people that were closer to them before you anyway. You don't even know the person's last name. You know what I'm saying? So how you expecting something from that person? And then the last thing I said, you naturally just want to be able to genuinely get something, you know what I'm saying, from a person. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't, you genuinely want to be happy for that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because when she first told me about the deal, that was like when we first found out about it.
So it was probably like the day after, like, yo.
Yeah, when you first found out about it.
Yeah.
And my reaction is just, I'm happy for you. You know what I'm saying? My mindset wasn't, oh man, let me try to get some work off of this and this. No, I was genuinely happy because my mind thing is that if that happens and that's successful, it's gonna be other projects. You know what I'm saying? And if you know what I'm saying, and if she knows that I'm talented enough, she will reach out.
Oh yeah.
And then naturally that's why I feel like what happened, and that's the better situation. But I find myself, you know what I'm saying, in this LA thing, and it's far few between people that you really can call friends, because it seems like every day, you know, people are more, they're starving. They just want to get what they want, and that's it. If they burn you as a friend, they don't give a damn.
Yeah, it's a grind,
that
man.
shit comes back around, and that person that they targeted will feel betrayed. And so, like, they may not do it intentionally, but, like, they're people, like, okay, there's people that have done some shit to me, and, like, just naturally, like, I don't want to fuck with them, so then, like, the people that I fuck with won't. You know what I mean? Like, E, Joey, some other, like, really close people, just because they saw how I was hurt. You know what I mean? Not, like, I'm not gonna say nothing. Like, I would maybe work with them if that was the only role. Maybe, honestly, I'd cut the role. So, you know, like, fuck it. But, like, that, and, like, our world, especially, like, black comedy, is so small, so it's, like, it's too risky to do shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, to try to use someone in that way, because it's gonna come out. Like, people talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, like, if you're seen that way, and then also the person feels betrayed, like, it's a whole thing, and it's, like, it's just fucked up.
Yeah, that comedy grind, it's a grind like any other grind. Like I say, with me, I love writing it about as much as you all love performing.
Yeah.
Here's the crazy thing. Here's another thing that I got out of working with Heart of the City. I'm not going to say the comedy clubs. I've had 2 different venues offer me 10 minutes of stage time.
Niggas don't do stand-up.
10 minutes of stage time. I've never done stand-up in my life. I have a nice portfolio of material written for myself, for Joy, and for a couple other comics I've been working with lately. And I'm like, wow. It's like, you sure me? And I'm like, how do you know? And I literally had one comedy club on. He's like, well, I see the stuff you write. I said, yeah, me writing it and you performing it. It's 2 different things. Because it's your interpretation now. You're adding that Detroit flavor to it. You're adding your own character personality to it. I gave you about as much as I could to get you to the next point with it.
Right.
And that's what I do with Joey. And so I'm like, all right. But, you know, I embrace it, but I respect it. I said when I do go up, I'm going to do the open mics. I'm not going to take for granted that I can go up there and riff 10 minutes. I can riff 10 minutes with you guys, but then for some people that came out that want to see somebody laugh,
That paid to see
that
it,
takes a
yeah.
craft that I haven't worked out yet. You
Right.
know, because that's not a goal of mine. Mine is just to write it. If I do stand up, and when I do it, it's just like, oh wow, I can actually do this now. If I get some laughs and feel like I want to go further with it, I'll pursue it like that. But that is, it's not what I'm not doing what you moved out here to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's one of those. So that's one of the things that comes out of it, man. But you know, again, we get people pulling on us left and right. I had a comic that threw shade on me in front of Joey about writing.
Fucking.
I'm not gonna say his name, but it happened at the comedy club right here around the corner. We're out after the show, and Joey and I have this routine where, you know, we get to the union, you know, when he's hosting, and, you know, earlier that day or whatever, we'll go over the set. So we'll get there a couple minutes early, like, hey, you know, here a couple, you know, what we're gonna do or whatever. He'll come in, da-da-da, all right, cool. When he comes off hosting, in between the comics that go up, we'll sit down and go over what he just performed or whatever, and
Right.
then at the end of the night, we'll go over everything, and then we'll try to put it in some sort of a chronological order.
Right.
Well, this one comic, and this was maybe about 2 years ago, and they were in the middle of a tour and all of that. So they're eating. Majority of the comics want to be part of that Plastic Cup Boys Hartbeat circle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so when Joey goes to, you know, certain comedy clubs, the union or whatever, cats is just pulling left and right to get advice, get pushed in the right direction, to get work or whatever. So this one comic is like, oh man. He's like, man, if you needed a writer, you should have told me. Joy's like, dude, I got my man right here. Don't
Right
be
here.
right here. He's like, you know, man, if you need somebody to punch up, or he said, dude, are you serious? And I'm like, my man, are you serious? And this is another black dude that I got to tell this to. I'm like, dude, you stepping on my toes because
Yeah.
I'm still learning, you know. And you coming over or whatever. It's like, come on, man, you don't do anything like that. Especially like not only as a comic, but just as another black man. It's like, dude, I'm not in the back of the room telling you what jokes to perform and say, hey man, that ain't working. Try this one. Like,
Right.
come on.
See, but what that comes from is, like I said, starving.
Yeah, just want to get
People,
on.
when you were starving, your knowledge for respect,
It goes out of the window.
it goes out of the window, because you're just looking to eat yourself, and so that's LA, man.
Oh,
That's
one
LA.
thing with Heart of the City, like, because last season I traveled. Okay, so I was an associate producer, but I'm also always Joey's assistant, right?
Right.
So, depending on, like, the shoot or whatever, I would need to go, like, do my production job. So, I would go see the comics for Heart of the City or whatever, like, the hotel or whatever,
Mhm.
and Joey is, like, snapping or whatever the fuck he's doing, right?
Oh, you do a great job of that too. I seen some of the hotels you booked.
just a lot of W's and
Yeah, I
shit.
see. Yeah.
So, so like I'll go and like work with the comics, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I just go and say my first name, and then like I keep working with them, and they'll treat me like I ain't shit, right? Because they don't know no better. So they're like I'm the help and whatever. Okay. So then, and they're talking, oh Joey, da da da, and in my head I'm like, that is basically like my dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so then he'll come, and then he'll meet them or whatever. And then he'll be like, is that guy? Do we fuck with him? I'm like, no, I'm the help. And he'll be like, oh. And then you could start to see them like, wait a minute. Like, what is their relationship? And then before they know it, someone will be like, oh, that's his assistant. And then you can see like in their face like, oh, I fucked up. And I'm just like, just be nice to everyone all the time. And like one comic, Ty Davis, she's one of my friends now. She was watching me backstage. And she said when she first met me, she was like, that girl's important. I don't know what she does, but she's important. Because, like, how I guess the production team was, like, addressing me. And then when Joey came, she was like, oh, maybe that's his daughter. And then she was like, no, maybe that's his sister. Wait, maybe that's his side chick. Like, she had all these ideas. And then she was like, no, because she just went and fussed and cussed at him. So maybe... And then she had, like, all these reasons, like, our relationship.
Right.
And at no point did she think I was his assistant. Like, side chick, like, girl, like, daughter, like, niece, like, all this shit. And I was like, no, I just cash my, like, he just writes my check. She's like, oh. But, like, the other comics were assholes to me.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, and then, she, like, they wonder why, like, when they got flown out to LA, like, some people were slightly favored. Because it's human nature.
Yeah.
Like, I fuck with you. I'm going to tell you a little more. I'm going to give you a little more. And they're like, oh, like, these people are favored. I was like, yeah, because in your city, you were an asshole to me. You know what I mean? And you were clearly just sucking up to Joey.
And which is...
And it's so obvious. Like, as soon as he walks in the door, there's like a, hey, Joey, da, da, da. And I'm like bumping me to get to him. And I'm like, I just text this nigga to come in here. Like, what are
That's
you
the
talking
funny
about?
part when you get bumped and you're standing
Yeah,
there
and
and
it's
you
like-
get that. You're like,
Yeah.
really? Come on. Because neither one of
Yeah.
she said it perfectly. I've witnessed that before because no one, for some reason, they have no idea what we do.
Mhm.
They're like, oh, you right.
Because we're not on all
She-
social media and shit, so like, there's no
Mhm.
reason for you to have really seen our faces. You know what I mean? Or like,
Yeah, we're not like,
matches
yo,
with
this
him.
Joey Wells right here, da da da.
Yeah,
Like,
like-
yeah.
and so like, I really get to like. That's when I really learned who the person really is. You know what I mean? Because when they don't know my real job,
Mhm.
and then immediately this dude in the city that I can't stand, you know, immediately when he figured out my job, then he was my best friend, and I was like, nigga, 5 minutes ago, you know what I mean? Like, no, I already decided I don't fuck with you. Like,
it's
it's the
a
craziest
wrap.
thing. Yeah.
It's a wrap on that, man. Now I want to. We was talking about this before we came in the show. How
R. Kelly, you
No.
bumped him on the radio. So problematic. I have this fight all the time.
Wow.
for my
Let me duck. Those ashes are coming my way. Good going.
for my defense,
No.
it was Best of Both Worlds, and I was listening for Jay-Z.
Whatever.
And then, you know,
Like you know, Kale's hit a
Because
verse
it
on that
wasn't-
album.
You know,
Because it wasn't tracked in the class.
it was like
it's okay.
it was like just, you know, when you were a kid and you watching the movie with your parents and the sex scene come on,
Mhm.
like I'm listening for Jay-Z. When Kale's come on, I'm not
You
listening.
close your
I'm
you close your
closing my
ears.
I close my ears when
Fuck outta
Kale's come
here.
on.
Like,
You were
who's that-
singing along when you pulled up. I was like, no, this nigga, nah.
Who's that other guy rapping with Jay-Z? Various names.
But I'm one of the people. Music good. It's like I separate the person. You know what I mean? It's
I can't.
I
Me and
can-
Joey have this fight all the time.
because-
He can, I cannot at all.
because if you do that, then there's a lot of stuff that you can't listen and watch to. Then
That's true.
you might anything that
Rap wouldn't exist.
any movie that Harvey Weinstein ever produced, you can't watch. I don't even know them all, but you can't watch it.
That's true.
Man, the
So-
Cosby
Yeah.
Show was on the other day.
I mean, I'm not the most mature.
So-
but, yeah, like,
But other thing we was talking about was Heart in the City, Detroit.
Oh.
This
go
was,
ahead. I'm about to call Joey so you can air
So,
your grievances.
this was- It was. Well, before I get to that, I want to say this. I want to say this because this I ain't gonna lie. This actually really made me more madder than the Detroit thing. But every city that I done lived in, where y'all have did Heart of the City, y'all always announce the auditions after I move.
That's true. You told me that. Tisha's
After
house.
I was living in Memphis. Swear it was probably about 2 weeks later after I moved. Oh, they doing Heart of the City auditions in Memphis. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Then in February when I left when I moved out of Dallas. 2 weeks later, people was like, yeah, they doing Heart of the City auditions in Dallas. I'm like, man, I can't even get back.
You could've-
I'm moving. At this time, I didn't have the knowledge
Yeah.
of who I could reach out to or stuff like that, you know what I mean, to figure out, you know what I'm saying, what's going on. So after the Dallas thing is when I got your information.
Okay. Because I was like, you could have hit me because I'm one of the people that helps.
When I
set.
finally, somebody, you know what I'm saying, was like, yeah, you know, you can reach out to this person. And that's when Jeff gave me your email because he was doing the next level. Because it was not too much longer after I moved to LA when y'all shot that episode of the next level. Because I think that was February when y'all shot it.
Like March.
February,
Yeah,
early
March,
March or
yeah.
something like
Yeah,
that.
last year, yeah.
So that's when I got the information. And so I was like, it's where it's like, dog, every
Because
time.
when did we do the auditions for Dallas? You were
Y'all
already...
did them in, I want to say February. It was like
Man,
end of January.
When them
December.
videotapes come in, man,
Yeah.
and you spending 10 and
It was-
12 hours watching
No.
comedy all
Uh-huh.
day.
But they're... Damn, I wish you
It
would
was
have
the-
said something because
Because
there's
y'all
also
did at the,
an
because I think
email.
y'all did at the Improv in Arlington.
Yeah, but there's also an email that I
Yeah.
made that literally only me and Joey look at.
Mhm.
That if you send it to that email, like I look at it and Joey, that's it.
Yeah.
And like, but that's completely separate. Like that's just a side thing that
Mhm.
I did. And damn, I
Yeah,
wouldn't know
so
because
that
you
was-
could have sent your tape and then like directly we both would have seen
Right.
it.
So yeah, but that was after this stuff, and
Yeah.
so I was.
Where else have you lived?
I was there. I done lived in Atlanta, but I know y'all
We
did
did
Atlanta
Atlanta.
already.
Better stay put here
Uh,
in LA.
yes.
Knock on wood, hopefully we'll come back
Or
and do
find
it.
another, or find like another small town.
We'll give you a heads up what city and move your
Yeah,
ass
move
there.
there real quick.
But yeah, so
Heart of City, Montana.
but the Heart of City Detroit like this, and it's already gonna come off wrong by me even saying it. So it's like it is what it is. But the guys that y'all had on the show, they're funny.
Okay.
No, of course they're not gonna. Y'all wasn't gonna put them on national, TV if they wasn't funny. But for me, being from Detroit and knowing, saying the comedians from Detroit, it wasn't the right representation that I would have liked to see for Detroit, because the funniest people from Detroit was not on the show. Only one of them I can vouch for as being one of the funniest people, and that's Jeff Forrest.
Okay.
The other three, they're cool. You know what I'm saying? I respect them. They're good. But Josh Adams, Jay Will, it's so many. I'm sitting here, I can sit here and name cats off, for days.
Yeah.
But them two right there are, are the biggest representation for Detroit.
Okay.
As in the funniest dudes. Them dudes right there, man, are some beasts. Are some beasts. And I don't know, what happened in the audition process, when they did their live audition. If I know Josh did.
They auditioned.
I think Josh did, but I'm not for sure about Jay Will.
Okay.
But I'm just assuming they did, because it's not too much stuff that happens for Detroit. Especially comedy wise. So I'm assuming that that Jay Will did. But them two right there, I really wish I could have seen them on that. On that episode, because when I heard it, I automatically assumed them two was going to make it. That's how funny them two cats is.
Okay.
But
like how it works from our side is we take, like, Joey picks the cities, and then like one of his close boys or a boy of a boy, whatever, like a Rodney Perry in Atlanta. So he hits them and says, hey, make these auditions. I want to see everyone the funny. And then we also get names like Rodney would be like, well, these are the people I'm watching, blah, 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 right? Or like Cleveland, Kim Whitley did it, like those people. And then we have the open auditions, and then we get the tapes, and we sit, like, E will sit in his computer. We're all in different rooms, and we're watching them. And then we have like Kevin and Becky, like other people too. And then we go through, and then Joey has a dry erase board wall, and we just start putting up names, like, and then we fight about it, like. He'll be like, well, why do you like him? And then I'll tell why, whatever, and all this shit. And then we have, like, these kind of categories, and then we pick. So, like, if we didn't even see them, like, if they weren't on that, whoever the person in Detroit, I don't remember the, like,
they did the
liaison.
showcase,
Yeah, list, or they're not in the audition or not in the email, like, we don't even know that they really exist. You know what I mean? So, like, knowing these people, like, if we never saw them, you know what I mean? Because we're not on the ground. Right. You know what I mean? Like, we don't really know people.
Yeah.
And it's like what he said earlier. If you don't get that information,
yeah.
Because I'll get calls after the fact, and they're like, "Hey, how could I like?" And man, I don't. I've done what I needed to, because it's a selection process, and we try to be as honest as possible with people. Like she said, she'll be in her office looking at that 8, 9, 10 hours a day. I'll do it. Joy will do it. Then Joy will put in the extra time and be looking at it wee hours of the night. So when we come back, if we select 6 people, we have to say why we like these 6 people and why we don't like this. So my list eventually has to match her list, your list, and your list, and eventually you come to terms or whatever. And then there's other modifications, but one of the things is a lot of the comics feel like, hey, because they do stand-up, they have to be on the show. And it's like, if you have any TV or film critics as a comic, and you get paid, you're disqualified.
Yeah, I know that.
Just introduce new faces. I mean, it's a horrible process. I mean, I'm a writer, so I feel it as a writer when I do stuff outside of Hartbeat. There's, you want people to read your stuff, and then you wonder why, oh man, what happened? So it is one of those things, man. But, and that's not to negate the people that sent their stuff in and didn't make it, to say they were not funny, because Detroit has a plethora of comics. Detroit and Chicago, to me, are 2 of the funniest cities that present a lot of tough comics and funny comics, man.
Yes.
Yes, we literally will fight, like, Joey doesn't win all the fights. Like, sometimes I win these fights about the comics and stuff.
Right.
And then, like, it'll kind of get louder. Harry walk in. And then we'll argue, like, give our thing. And then Harry will pick, like, she wins. And he'll walk away. And I'm like, yep, on the board. And then, like, we're done with that comic. You know what I mean? Like, there's always this thing. And
he'll let us take the fall. He'll say, all right, You're gonna leave
Like,
the point
there-
on this, and if it go
For
down,
example,
it's on you.
he's admitted it. He told the network and talked to the comic too in Chicago.
Uh-huh.
He I had to fight for Niche. I fought him like over a long period of time, like in texts, in phone calls, seeing in person.
About what?
He was just like, but why her? Why? And I was like, why not? And I fucking wrote a paragraph of like, this is why she's the next.
Did he not see her perform before?
Not live, like he just saw the video. And I was like, her, I'm like, and at one point he was like, no. And then I was like, for me, fuck it, for me. And he was like, fine, okay. And so put her on. So then she gets the next level, right? Pure talent. I didn't travel with them that season. So he literally texted me. He's like, your girl crushed it. I was wrong. Like, she is the next thing. And I was like, fucking told you. So then she gets next level, right? And the Comedy Central execs are out there. He introduced me to her. And I'm like, oh, blah, blah, blah. He was like, listen, you weren't going to be on the show, but she fought for you. And then she's like, oh, thanks, whatever. Then he goes to the Comedy Central and is like, hey, guys, your star? And they're like, yeah, Niche. And they're like, she wasn't going to be on. And, like, gave me the credit of, like, she fought. And she fought me for months about it. And I was like, yeah. Like, so that was one that I won. And, like, I'm still proud. Like, when I see her and, like, I'll text her every time she, like, does something great. I'm like, you make me proud. Because also I'm, like, fucking getting it into him. You know what I mean? Like, I found a star. And then there's a couple other people that are on, like, this coming up season that I fought for.
Okay.
But, like, I can't tell them yet until the episode airs.
Right.
Yeah, and Jess did the next level too.
Yeah.
So.
Jeff did next level, yeah.
No, just
Niche, yeah.
she did
That's
next
when I
level.
met her on set, and then he told the Comedy Central execs, like, hey, like, she's the next star, and they're like, we know, nigga. Well, they're white, they didn't say the word, but, you know.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
We
Wow.
need
But,
some
like-
cool comics. on
but,
that
like-
show.
If she wasn't on the show, like, that would have changed that whole episode.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But, like, if I didn't fight for her, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of those, so, like, I didn't know those other two guys, like your boys from Detroit,
Yeah.
to fight for them.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy right there.
Yeah. Like,
Cause
he'll,
she
like,
a-
yeah,
she
he
a
would tell you, he'd
beast.
be like, yeah, I didn't see it. And I'm like, how did you not? Like, what? And then, like, Josh Johnson, he's in that same episode. He's writing for Trevor Noah right
Okay.
now on The Daily Show.
Josh has that voice like this. He delivers
Yeah.
this comedy like he's a kidnapper, but very smart brother.
Yeah, talented. I didn't see it in Josh, and he fought for Josh.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, what's one of, you know, like I it's some guys out here. You know, I watch so much comedy. You know, what I'm saying, so much that it's rare that someone makes me just laugh out loud. You know, what I'm saying, I could be like, oh yeah, that's funny. You know what I mean? And it just doesn't. You know, it doesn't make the emotion. You know, I don't make an emotion face.
Because
You
you're
know,
jaded.
face.
You're a
Yeah,
comic.
right, whatever. But it is some dudes that I personally am a fan of. You know what I'm saying, of what they, you know, of their work. And I'm a big fan of Vincent.
Vincent Bryant?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Todd.
He,
You know what I'm saying? Like me and him are like how can I put it? You know, we're social. We're not friends. You know what I'm saying? But
cordial.
we're cordial. We see each other. What's up, man? But I'm a fan of his. You know what I'm saying? And I'm so happy he on the show. My other homeboy, who I am real good friends with, G King. That's
Oh, yeah. Vallejo?
Listen,
Yeah, Vallejo.
listen, it's crazy because G King genuinely is a great dude.
Yeah, he seems kind.
He's a
Yeah.
very great dude. But it's so funny to see him trying to be humble about getting this first TV opportunity. And I'll be trying to tell him, hey man, for this from this time to the TV show, come on, just be a straight asshole, right? Just let it all out, you know what I'm saying? Because you know what I mean? Because you only have a first once, you know what I'm saying? So, because now all you gotta is just you gotta capitalize off of it. Just do you and do what you keep doing, and it's gonna be bigger. And I'll be telling him because he'd be like, man, you know what I'm supposed to do, how I'm supposed to capitalize, what I'm supposed to do next. I'm like, man, just it's gonna happen for you, man. You a good dude. Things is gonna work out for you. You know what I mean? And I'm so happy for him. And you know, I can't wait for July 5th for that episode to air. You know what I mean? Because
Another
He's
2
good.
weeks.
because
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
is, that dude. He's super excited for that, and I'm happy for him.
He's a gentle black man.
Yeah.
Like every time I interact, like he just has like a gentle, and I think it's the cutest thing. Not like, like you know what I mean, like
We
'cause
might
you
have
don't
a
really
love
get black.
connection.
No. But like, I know, especially like black men, there's like the big old tough, like, but then
Yeah.
like he's just so gentle, and I'm
Just
like,
like
oh,
laid back, yeah.
yeah.
And yeah, man, that's just, and so I generally, you know, and that's for me, man. Like, if you pay, a lot of people pay attention to my Instagram, when I see my fellow comedians and actresses and stuff like that, people, my peers, get things and do things, I don't. It's happy. I'm happy to see it, because that just lets it, you know, even if I haven't had an opportunity to have it for me in a minute, I don't care.
Yeah.
It's that I generally like seeing it, and I will post a picture, congratulations, you know what I'm saying, and so other people can see it, you know what I mean. It's just that I love seeing my people, you know what I'm saying, doing something that they love and they're passionate about. That's just, you know, I want to see more of. And I just said this the other day, it was like, I see when, you know, when it comes to like podcasts or people post videos and stuff like that, is that why don't people share it more? You know what I'm saying? Like, people look at it and, okay, that's funny. But then you'll go see a video, somebody getting their ass whooped. Oh, look at this, you know, and share it all day. You know what I'm saying? But somebody, you know what I'm saying, but somebody putting up a funny, you know, a comedian putting up a funny video to get more followers or stuff like that, or, you know, doing a podcast, or, you know, working on a movie or something and put out a trailer. I want to see more people, you know what I'm saying, share that and support more, you know what I'm saying, on the positive things.
Yeah.
And, you know what I'm saying, and so much of the crazy negative stuff, you know what I'm saying, like it gets supported way more.
Yeah, that's, I mean, again, look at, you got World Star. Who would have thought something like that would take off to the point where, like you said, hey, we can talk about something positive, and very few people will share it once it gets to them. But somebody getting knocked out or something crazy happen, and somebody in the background yelling, World Star, million hits.
There's also is something to, if you know the person, you don't really share it. You know, like in general, like you maybe not, but like, BT Kingsley has a like YouTube shit.
Yeah.
One day, in the middle of the night, he was like, "Give me your phone, give me your phone." And I was like, "No," and he was like, "Yeah, I want you to be a subscriber on YouTube." And my initial reaction was like, I know you, nigga, no. But I was like, that's such the wrong idea. Like, I should be like, oh, because I know you, I'm going to do it and watch. You know what I mean? And I was like, and then I started watching the shit because I was like, I needed to switch the way I think.
Because, like, I got friends that they have YouTube pages where they, you know, the girls, they talk about makeup and stuff, you know, and hair stuff. I ain't watching that, but I'll go subscribe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'll go subscribe, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. I do I physically just sit there and just watch them? No, but I would subscribe to it, to your page, to help your, you know, your you know, subscribers. And yeah, that's just, you know.
Can I ask you a random question?
You can ask me anything.
What's your end game? Like, what's the mountain peak for you?
For me, what's so crazy is that I was just talking about this, and actually last night when I was picking up somebody from the airport. My end game is that I want to, of course, number one, I want to be able to perform stand up every weekend. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to tour, I want to be able to travel and tour more and perform every weekend. I want to be able to create a brand that can sustain, that can be able to take care of me. I'm not being stupid rich is not something that's in my eyesight. It's something that if it happens, that's like a extra blessing God said here. I want to be able to perform, create content, you know what I'm saying, because I do write. I want to be able to create content, you know, TVs, even some movies. And that's it. You know what I mean? I'm being honest. You know, I'm not asking for too much out of this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was
You
like,
know, I'm not asking.
you just want to be able to make a living.
Yeah, I just want to be able to make a living to where I can be able to support me and hopefully a family one day, and be able to, you know, have some sanity when I wake up in the morning. Because I'm being honest, working, you know, one of the hardest things about being an entertainer is when you're not making money from what you love to do, is having to work a day job, because it's like people want your time, but they don't want to pay you for it.
Yeah.
So at the same time is that I have to work this job, but also be free for this and this. And if I do get paid for it, it's pennies. You know what I'm saying? And then they look at you like, this is what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? And so that's one of the hardest things that for me mentally right now, because I ain't gonna lie, it's a grind going to work every day. And so but the thing about with that, it fuels me more to do what I need to do to be able to get to where I want to get. And also, I guess I see it work for some people. It's just something that I don't do is the begging. Like, I just feel like if it's supposed to happen, it's naturally gonna happen as long as I put the work in. I don't like, going to spot and sitting in people's faces and hopefully they say, come on, bring you along. You know what I'm saying? I see a lot of people that do that, and that's just not me. I just can't.
It's the difference between like begging and networking.
Yeah, it's just like I go to like I would go to like, for example, I would go to certain spots or certain never things, show face, shake hands, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? I'm out.
You're not just hovering around.
It's some people there that go there and act like fools, you know what I'm saying, just to try to get attention and get their name out there. I'm like, bro, I can't go to that level. It's not. It's for me. Is that's just selling myself short, because if you're that talented, even though talent is not always the be all end all, but if you're that talented and you develop genuine relationships with these people, things will happen for you. And so I only been here in LA for about a year and a half now.
Okay.
Oh,
so,
you're super young then.
Right. So it's like a lot of the stories and a lot of people I know, you have your exceptions. Your exceptions of people that came out here within a year and got management or got a role or something like that. You got your exceptions. But for the most part, most people, it didn't took them 4 or 5 years before they got that first break. You know what I'm saying? Being in LA, even though they've been performing like me for over a certain amount of years. I'm 32. I started stand up when I was 19.
Oh shit. Okay, you've been in it.
You know what I'm saying? So I've been doing it a while. Even though during the time frame, with life situations, I might have cooled off for a couple months. I might not have been hard with it, but but my first time on stage when I was 19 years old.
That's what's up.
And so, some of these cats been in the game 20 years and just now getting the opportunity. So,
and some may not ever get it.
May not ever, may not ever get the opportunity. But I'm not doing it because I'm not doing it for no money. Because if I was doing that, I'd be living on Skid Row right now. I'm doing it because I genuinely love it and it saved me. Comedy saved my life, like real talk.
Most comics say that.
Yeah,
like
it saved my life.
Yeah.
Laughter and music are universal. Those are two biggest things that just you being from Detroit, you being from Fresno.
I was about to say, I was like, you're in fucking
you being from Fresno. I'm sorry, where are you from? LA. That music brings people together. I love Tina Marie. She's an LA person. I love Tina Marie. I love the music. Shit, Motown. Y'all got artists that came out, whether it's rap or whatever. We got Michael Jackson, but we also had other artists, the Jesse Powell. But music brings people together, and comedy. Like you said earlier, I don't do the stand-up, but writing it, there's not a dark side that we have, but there's an element of just being very reclusive of like, man, I can laugh all day listening to Pryor. Once I cut Pryor off and get in my own mode, a lot of times I don't want to be bothered with people.
Now, one of the things to bring up, which people, a lot of comedians feel like it's easy, but it's actually, to me, one of the most difficult things in comedy to do is to write for somebody else.
Oh, wow.
Because for me, it's like you have to, when you writing it, I don't know, you might say differently of what I'm saying, but to me, it's like when you're writing for somebody else, you're not only writing from your comedic mind thought, you also have to take in part of who you're writing it for. Because you can write a joke that might be hilarious, but it might not sound right coming from that comedian.
That right there is, the thing is, you all perform it. So not too many stand-up comics come out to say, hey, I'm going to do stand-up and I'm also going to write for another person. That just happens with a lot of comics. I think it worked great with Paul Mooney and Pryor, and everybody knew that combination. With me, I started off writing like TV stuff with Joey. the actual stand-up part literally just came in like 2013 or 14, and we just happened to be talking.
Right.
And he was just bouncing jokes off of me, and I was like, hey, you mind if I, take a crack at a couple of jokes? And he was like, yeah. And I wrote it, and he gave me one note once I turned the bit in, and after that note, he's never really given me a note since then.
Mm-hmm.
But I know his voice.
Yeah.
When we do
yeah.
Heart of the City, I know Kevin's voice. I know Harry's voice. I hang around Spank enough, I can pick up his voice. Naeem, it'll take me a minute because I'm not around him and not enough to get his voice. Same with you, I'd have to come see a few of your sets, but I already know you're a cool guy, so I can add the element of being from the Midwest, the element of Detroit, and then once I hear a few of your jokes and see your movements on stage, I'm like, okay, I can do that. But that's just me because I'm a writer, so I can pay attention to people's voices. Like, I can create a character based on her and have her voice down pat. Her mom is one of the coolest people I know. I don't think I told you. I have your mom, a character for your mom in the animation thing I'm doing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have I think I call it Mama Sheena and Miss Sheena, that. But her mom is cool as hell. But when you're around people as a writer, that's something I always do. I'm a wallflower when it comes to that shit. Like, I'll sit in with, when they did the Sirius Radio meeting, when we did it in the kitchen at the studio that time.
Yeah. Okay, so what happened? The boys shoot Straight from the Heart at Kevin's studios, right?
Okay.
But Munir, the studio manager, whatever, he buys lunch. So these niggas, you're supposed to be there at noon. Kevin, Spank, Harry, they pull in 12:15, 12:20, whatever, and then they gotta eat and whatever. So we all just happen to be in the kitchen. So Kevin was just like, "Well, you niggas is in here." So we just moved the meeting in there. That's what he's talking about.
And so he does this cool meeting, and I'm listening because I'm learning. And I'm listening to everything he's saying, and I'm soaking it up. So as a writer, I do that. So I take what he teaches these guys and what he's telling, apply it to myself. So when I'm, when she and I are together, I'm either teaching her, learning from her, my buddy Ryan, who I work with as a comic, teaching him as well. Because that's, again, look what he's created. You'd be a fool not to learn any of that from any of those guys. So anytime I get with each one of them, I'm listening and just picking up on it. Like, Joey is naturally fucking funny. He could walk, he's the type of dude that can walk in any room, regardless of your race, culture, creed, or religion, and he can pivot and make everybody laugh. And not forcing it, just being himself. And there's not too many guys that can do that. Some guys turn that comedic switch on when they go on stage. When they come off stage, that's it.
Yeah, the funniest I've ever seen him in my life was when he went up, he was there. He went up and just he did a whole set about his mother at her funeral. I was crying laughing because it was the fun, he was crying, his thug tears, whatever. He doesn't cry, he sweats. And he went up and it was the funniest shit, but it was all just it was about a 5 or 6 minute
bit. He just ripped off the top of his head at a funeral.
Oh my god! And then he was talking about the people that spoke and how they were lying. It was the best thing, and I was like, oh shit! It's just natural for him. But also he's at 20 plus years of perfecting his voice. You know what I mean? Do you know your voice as a comic?
I'm still working on my voice. You know what I'm saying? I feel when I first started, some of the vets in Detroit, which coming up for me was Martini Harris, Kool-Aid, Mailman, Simply Chanel. They were all used to tell us you always working on your voice. You at some point you will determine your main voice, but you always working on and reinventing yourself with your voice. And so I'm still at that point where I'm still finding myself, but I'm at that point where I'm confident on stage. I'm confident on stage, on what I can do. But I'm always working on my voice, and I'm working on. And now, in point in my career is that I'm working more on talking more about me as me. It's easy to go up there and and do jokes, but the hard part is doing material that's from in here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can go up there easy. All these, about these ugly girls, these ugly ass ponytails and this and that. I can easily do stuff like that. But to actually come out and talk about when I was 7 and this happened with my mother, that's what is coming out of me now.
Yeah. And that's where the real meat of comedy is.
Mm-hmm.
That's what make people care. Kevin Tate, love him. I love his voice. And him and Sydney Castillo. I could see their set every single weekend and know the cadence and still cry every time.
Wow.
Like, I've done it like the last 6 weekends or something, like seeing both of them cry every single time.
Is Sid from
like,
Detroit?
I don't know, but Sydney's amazing.
I don't
Okay.
think Sydney's from
No.
Because I was gonna say
He's from the east. I think he's from the East Coast, but I don't think he's from
okay.
Detroit.
Because he's one of the few stand-up comics that I know that literally writes. Like
Yeah, he's a writer.
He wrote on like Marlon show. He writes on a couple of
He's
TV
on Neighborhood
shows.
right now.
Yes.
Mhm.
Him and Malik S.
And Sean Larkins.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes.
Uh-huh.
And Sean. Those are the few guys. I know Sid more as well as Malik because I work with Malik on the show.
I know Sean more. Yeah.
Okay. Those guys are is unique with them because not every stand-up knows how to write for TV. In that sense, like writing a script for a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
So when they're not performing or whether they find their voice through that.
Yep.
You know,
Would
so
you
that's
want
a
to be
cool.
a TV writer?
Yeah, I actually what's so crazy is that I meant to talk about this earlier when you was talking about Kevin and Joey and all them coming up. Is it's similar to what we're doing now. You know what I'm saying? Is that one thing I had to I've been, preaching, saying to a lot of comedians that you got to understand not every comedian, is built to be the forefront. You know what I'm saying? You're not made to be the main person. You know what I'm saying? And that's, in their group, Kevin's the main person. Everybody else at the same day, every time I go to the Laugh Factory and see one of them pull up, they driving the same thing Kevin driving. And that's fine with me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's fine with me. And so,
Because you'll still be able to go to the grocery store.
right,
Yeah.
in our circle, in our circle, which I know, Ron Taylor, that's the dude. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even gonna sit here in front and say Ron Taylor is funny to me. Ron Taylor is one of the funniest dudes in the country right now, and I would be foolish to sit here and say that he's not or whatever. That's my dude. That's my dude right there. And so what I'm trying to do and get people to understand is that we need to rally around him. Is that so? What I'm doing is right now is writing a TV show based around him, to where once he start going to more of these meetings, he having material he can be able to, okay, this is what we got. You know what I mean? And so that's what I'm trying to build. With him. And with some of our other comedian friends together. So that's the same. So that's what we're trying to build a unit to be able to get that popping.
But that's amazing that, like, you can put your ego aside and be like, no, this is the guy, and I'm going to push him forward. Because most comics, like, right now, they'd be like, no, but I'm the guy. Like, he needs, you know what I mean? And, like, for you to be like, no, like, I get it. Like, I might be second, but, like, let's make him great and then come up.
Yeah. Like, I'll be honest. This probably first time I'll probably ever said this to, publicly, is that if I was able to do 1 or 2 TV shows, stand-up wise, I'm fine. I just want, be honest with you, I just want to get on TV one time just to be like, to show, not just that I did it, but to show my mama that all these years of me struggling and being homeless and broke was worth it. That's it. You know what I'm saying? That's TV for me. TV is not the be-all, end-all of your career. You know what I'm saying? Because you can do so much stuff behind the scenes and make so much more money than somebody that is on TV.
Oh, yeah.
So I just want to get on TV just to be like, Mama, this is what it was for.
She can show her friends.
Yeah,
this is what
my baby on TV.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
my
saying?
baby.
This is what it was for. That's it. I'm be honest. That's TV for me. But writing, writing a TV show, developing, being on it, man, that's my dream. You know what I'm saying? Is being a part of that process. That's my dream.
Yeah, if you got any questions, man, let me know. I'll definitely that
definitely
what you
talk.
just mentioned. That's what Gerard Carmichael did, man. Like when he got his show, he a couple comics, and a lot of them didn't know how to write, but they were funny, and that's when you have a TV show, that's what you want. Because I've seen comics that come on a TV show, they can't write a script, but they have great funny stories, so they get paired with a staff writer. I'm pulling your stories, and I'm now putting it into the format of Final Draft or whatever, and you go from there. So yeah, that's a great thing, man. And I think the Lorel show came out of that.
Yeah,
so
that's the same. Yeah, Rail came
that
out
whole
of the same
cycle of like,
cycle as Gerard.
hang with your guy, like, hey man, you know what? I'm gonna start doing this. And you're right, Ron is funny. I saw Ron riff at a my buddy of mine was doing a Jack Daniels event, Gentleman Jack event.
Okay.
And Ron was Ron just stood in the middle and just ripped, and then he roasted one of my boys was up front nodding off or whatever. He said, "Hey man, it's past your bedtime, get your ass up and go to the back." My boys up there drinking, just nodding off or whatever. It was like 8, 9 o'clock at night. But no, Ron, does he still do that thing in the van, the cooking in the van? John?
No. Everybody asked him about that.
That shit's hilarious.
When we had the meeting at Hartbeat, they was asking. They asked about that show, but fuck it, I don't care. He stopped doing it because he's lazy.
Yo,
You gotta put him in.
But
on the real, that's I take that shit to like LOL, man. Have you seen it?
Nigga, this is an off-camera conversation.
No. I'm just saying the show. I'm not like trying to link it up
I haven't
LOL.
seen it,
but I'm
but,
saying
like,
because of the type
can
of
talk about it
comedy,
in a minute.
because of the type of comedy that he has. So man, that shit is hilarious. That's one of the funniest things I'd ever seen. Once the social media hit and people start
haven't seen
uploading.
Send it to me. Send it to me.
I sent you a link. He can't. He could do it right now,
If he had
but
a check.
it's certain situations I can't say why.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I can't say why,
As soon
but
as Mike's coming
but
off,
when-
I'm gonna ask.
but in the initial time he was doing it, I believe because he generally, you know what I'm saying, that's what he literally did, you know, because he really lived in his van. But
Oh.
yeah,
really?
for like
Oh,
the
wow, I
first,
didn't know that.
yeah, for the first, he moved from Detroit after I left Detroit. And when I first left Detroit to move to Memphis, he left, I think 6 months later. I left, something like that, because I left
To
him.
here? Like he came here?
Yeah,
Okay.
I left him, I moved to Memphis in May, and he moved to LA in September, when I should have been moving to LA too. I should have moved to LA a long time ago, but we gonna go back to that history.
But you're here now. That's
I'm here
what
now.
matters.
But he moved, and I think for the first 2 years, he lived in the van.
Oh man.
And it wasn't, it was kind of like, it was by choice because he had no money. One, and then two, he didn't want to work a job. You know, he just wanted to focus on stand-up.
Yeah.
Which, if I was his age, I would do the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I would do the same thing. But eventually, he started growing, and now, he don't live in the van. He still has the van, but he doesn't live in it, anymore. But yeah.
I want to see it. It sounds interesting.
Yeah, very funny brother. Shout out to him. Do you mess with what's Howie's last name?
Howie Bell?
Yeah.
Howie Bell.
Yeah. Like, what's so funny is that when
I almost called him Howie Mandel.
when me and Howie just started really developing
Okay.
a relationship. You know what I'm saying? When I was in Detroit starting doing stand up, Howie wasn't in Detroit.
Okay.
He was out here. You know what I'm saying? He was out here and doing Bad Boys for Comedy when that was on. He was on the road. He wasn't in Detroit like that. So once I start moving out of Detroit, that's when he started coming back. And so we never really, had
Yes,
conversation.
yeah.
So him being out here and stuff like that, we didn't develop, more of a rapport and relationship. And so Howie, is real cool, man.
Oh, that's what's up. Yeah, he's a good brother to learn
Yeah.
from. When he comes out to the studio, I talk to him a lot, man.
Mhm.
And then we see Kevin. Kevin's hysterical. I saw him kill it on a rooftop in Koreatown. Like
Kevin
four
Tate. I was like,
four
Kevin.
black people, me and 3 other cats, and Kevin Tate on a rooftop in Koreatown, killing it. Killing with that fan joke.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I ain't never seen as many Asians laugh before in my life at
I
comedy
love
club. That was what's up.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. How long we been talking?
An hour 37. It's about to be 2.
Okay. So we're about to get ready to wrap this up. Before we do that, I want both of y'all what's some advice that you would like to give out. It don't have to be just entertainment, just period. What's some advice that you would like to give
I'm
out?
going first. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Like, a comic that I knew from another comic texted me randomly. It was like, hey, if I, what was the text? It was something about like, do I send a whole script or do I give a synopsis if I'm gonna pitch something to an exec or whatever? And I knew what I would do, but I walked across the hall, went to our exec and said, hey, and asked her the question. She said, no, don't do that, send the log line, blah, 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 blah. And then I realized that he didn't know what a log line was, and then I told him like everything, cause like information is free. Just be just ask the right people.
Yep.
And like I'm one, he's one. Like basically anyone on our team. Like if you get to us and ask us like a real question, we're gonna give you everything that we know or point you to the right person. And like, don't be afraid to ask.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Go ahead.
With me, I'll just tell people don't be afraid to fail.
True.
In a sense of I've been on a grind for a minute, and then learning from Joy, and I think she's one of the few people I shared with. I knew him before the Kevin stuff, so that's kind of like how you know Ron,
right.
and it grows. So I've seen his brother. I've had conversations with his brother. We've written at Starbucks off of La Brea and Centinela, where it's like, oh shit, it's going off like this. It's like we down here trying to crank out jokes. But to see him keep trying and keep trying and keep trying and still remain the same person, man, that's inspiring. So I tell people, hey, don't quit, don't be afraid to fail. Because, the failures become the success. I know a few people that packed up and left that I personally felt were talented people to be producers or writers or whatever, and they couldn't deal with the grind, because this is one of the few businesses where today's Tuesday, by Friday, all of our lives can change for the betterment financially to do what we want to do and, further our careers and help families or whatever. So I tell people don't be afraid to fail, and whatever it is you're doing, whether it's writing, stand up, focus on that, do your homework.
Also, just be kind. Like, you never know who you're really talking to, or this PA may be an exec in 5 years.
No, and before we go, I gotta say this, is that Ron, when I first moved out here to when I officially just moved out here, we were at the Comedy Store, and it was, I'll be honest, I don't remember the person, but it was me, Ron, and somebody else, and that person made a comment about some girl that was there, just on the patio, just some girl. And he was like, shh, don't say that. And so so for me, I'm naturally don't give a fuck person.
Yeah.
I'm a naturally don't give a fuck. We can have a conversation, you can say whoever name, I don't care. You know what I mean? But but after that, he was like, because he said, you don't know who these people is. That could be the girlfriend of somebody that could change your life. You don't know. So you gotta if you got a thought, keep it to yourself. Don't say it, you know what I'm saying? Because just you got to be kind because you don't know who you're talking to or who's listening. So, yeah. So, I want to thank y'all for coming.
Oh, thanks
Appreciate
for having
that.
us.
But I got one question. So, is we going to go another 6 months before I get a text back? Literally, we was
That's hilarious.
literally we was at a party. I'm like, I said,
which one? The first party or the second party?
one. I said,
The second party.
I
Okay.
said, hey, when you available, let me take you to lunch or whatever. Just, just to hang out, talk, you know what I'm saying? She said, oh, just text me with it. I didn't get a text. I literally got a text back last week and that was back in January.
Yeah, I text you back. Okay.
I got a text.
No, okay. He said lunch or dinner eat, right? So I'm like, okay, that's fine. Why? And I was like, hey, like, you want to go to lunch or dinner? Why does nigga say, what are you doing Saturday morning? Sleeping, nigga, not going to
She not getting up in the
breakfast.
morning. If it don't
What?
pertain to work or
I said lunch or dinner any day. He said Saturday morning. No.
I've stayed at her mom's house, and I won't see her ass till 2 in the afternoon, and she's
Hell no.
literally on the other side of the wall in a room. I'm like,
He goes, literally, I'll be like, oh, I'm going back home. He'll be like, oh, what time you pick me up? I'm like, okay. And then I'll go pick him up, and he'll be at my mom's house, hanging out with her, go do her errands, do all this shit. And I'm just like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to go to my sister's house. Like, he's just with my mom. And I was like, okay.
but we hang out and have so much
Yeah.
fun. She gets work, but she gets her rest too. So again,
Yeah, because my mom,
I
like, cooks for me and shit.
I cannot sleep that long.
yeah,
No, I can. Like, if I don't have to be somewhere, I could be asleep.
See,
I gotta get up.
Yeah, see, like my body naturally. Well, one, I live in Koreatown, so depending on where I park,
You gotta move it.
I gotta get up and move my car.
Nah.
So my body naturally wakes up early. Period. You know what I'm saying? So my days can usually start anywhere between 6 to 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Anywhere during that time, I'm up. And so it'd be funny, like when we go to so I go to work, then after that hit a stage or go to the Comedy Store, and it'd be like Ron, for example. Like Ron doesn't work a day job, so he'll sleep till 2 or 3 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? And then
And be up all night.
It'd be 12 o'clock. He giggly and all happy and
Because
stuff.
he just woke up.
And I'm in there like, man, I'm ready to go. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired. You know
He's
what I'm saying?
like, that's like his lunch break.
Yeah,
that time.
I'm
Like,
tired. I'm ready. I go. So what I do a lot of times is I let him do what he do because do what he do. I go in my car. I go to sleep.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm
Really?
saying?
And just laid it out?
I just go in the parking lot, go to sleep, and then wait, take about an hour or two, get back up, and now I got a little bit more energy. You know what I'm saying? But for most nights, I'd be like, man, I can't do this 1, 2 o'clock in the morning no more for no reason. You know what I'm saying?
We just out here.
For no reason, you know.
Comedic hours, man. Y'all keep them crazy ass hours, man.
Listen, the worst was we was at the store. I'm about to say this story. We about to go. We were at the Comedy Store, and Tiffany Haddish, Dave Chappelle, and what's the dude with the guitar? White guy.
The white guy with the guitar. I know a Filipino dude with the guitar.
It's some guy.
Stupid.
Some famous entertainer. I can't remember his name, but they literally it was about 3 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
They upstairs, the upstairs at the Comedy Store, had it still packed out. 3 o'clock in the morning, still going. I left at 3:30. I said I can't do it no more. You know what I'm saying?
I'm out.
And they still had everybody's attention. 3:30 in the morning. I was like, I'm out. I can't do this.
You getting old, nigga.
I can't do this. But yeah. So that was another episode of Don't Blame Me, Blame Detroit. I'll holler at y'all and make sure y'all subscribe and talk to y'all later. Peace out.
All right, bye.
Bye. I sweat like I'm at a deposition.
Oh my god.
Look, man, I told you I wasn't with you.
Like,
There's an
Like,
AC in the car.
Yeah.
like, I'm not going
Turn
to
it
jail.
on
I
now,
got shit to
nigga.
do.
What?
Yeah,
Why
they got because we got it on. You can
Yeah.
You hear it in the
okay.
background.
Gotcha.
But,
Because I kept bumping the table and I kept it going. I'm like, oh shit.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's very
but
sensitive.
what happened was on the with his YouTube show,
Yeah.
he like I said,
Are these mics off?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
he lazy. And I have some too, but he's extra lazy. And so he just stopped doing the show. And then last year? Yeah, it was last year because when I first got here. He ended up getting a DUI.
Oh.
So
in the van?
Yeah, in the van. So the van is just parked. So he hasn't drove the van and it's about to be almost a year.
Really?
And so the van is just parked at his where he live at. And so he hasn't even used it. You know what I'm saying? So that's another reason why he
Shit,
started.
that's the main reason.
Yeah.
So yes, that's
Oh,
another
that's
reason
the
why
main
he started. So like I said, he can still do it because he can easily just do it in a parked van. I mean, not do it while
Yeah.
you're driving. But it was that, and then also he's trying, like, he's just now getting noticed. So now he's getting a lot of stuff thrown at him that he's not used to. So he's trying to figure out the balance of doing everything. You know what I'm saying? Because, newly with management, and now he's starting to travel a little bit more. He's all over the place.
Yeah.
He's all over the place right now. So he's still trying to figure stuff out. But
I mean, he's forever gonna be trying to figure shit
yeah, but I be telling him, like, man, but the thing about it is he always say, man, I need help. But when you all try to give him the help, he don't want to take it.
out. Yeah.
That's the case of it. Are you familiar with Rob Hayes?
Rob Hayes.
Young cat.
Now the name doesn't
He's
ring a
from
bell.
Atlanta, but I think he moved to New York now. He's done like the Tonight Show, a couple of things. He stays pretty busy. He's been in LA the past